What's poppin', guys? Hopefully you enjoyed that intro. That was a little bit of the scene at the New York City Marathon Shakeout Run put on by Nike, Brooklyn Track Club, and Orchard Street Runners. Now, let's talk about the Abbot Dash to the Finish 5K. So, morning of the race, I got up, sun was barely up, had some oatmeal, a couple of eggs, banana, feeling real good, chugged a bunch of water. I heading to the city, make my way over to Central Park. First problem I encountered, however, is that I underestimated and recognized I did not know where baggage claim was. The thing is, the race is actually going to start over the United Nations, and you've got to make your way into the park and you finish up there. So in the middle of the park is where baggage claim was, and so I needed an additional like 15 or so minutes to walk over. I haven't really spent that much time in Central Park, so I didn't know where I was going. But was able to make my way over, was able to drop my bag off. I decided to race in the Zoomfly SPs, mainly because I knew that I could run 2 miles in to get my warm-up in, as well as do the race. For most of my 5Ks though, I prefer the LT Street. Made my way over to the starting line, got a quality warm-up in. I'm talking about 2 miles. That felt really good. Was able to get my dynamic stretches, my drills, my strides. I was all ready to go. Only thing though about today is that it's cold and it's raining again. Each race that I've done this year has either been wet, cold, or super gray, and that's a frustrating thing. Another piece of frustration, I was in the D corral, and the way New York Road Runners assesses their races is they seed you based off of a previous race result. I ran 2 years ago, so because of that time, they based my starting corral based off of that, which meant that as we went through the starting line, the first obstacle I had to overcome was a sea of people. The problem is this race is big, and when I mean big, I mean 10,000 people big. So it's not 10,000 people in front of me, but there is a considerable amount. And so you add that on to the fact that the first mile is net uphill. Whoa, baby. You're talking about a lot of things to overcome very early on in the race. And so as I make my way through the first mile, my watch actually goes off a bit earlier than the mile marker. I keep making my way through it. So when I get to the official mile marker, there's no clock. And so I was like, I don't know what's going on. My race strategy for today was to come out conservative for the first mile, attack the second mile, and just hold on to whatever it is that I got left for the third mile. So when I went to that second mile, it was nice that it started to thin out a bit during this period of time. Yes, there were still some people that were stretched out 5 and 6 across, taking selfies. And listen, I don't blame you. Coming up through mile 1, you're seeing like Grand Central Terminal, you're seeing Bryant Park, you're seeing the New York Public Library, and then when you make your way, as you're approaching into mile 2, you're hitting Radio City Music Hall, and it's all these iconic things. Those things for me don't matter. Like I said, my mindset is I am here to race. And so I finally find a guy that we seen him moving about the same pace, and I just kind of get behind him and just use him to drag. We've got a bit of a headwind coming towards us, and so I'm just like, let me just stick with this guy, and then as we approach the park, I'm gonna try to insert a surge and get past him. And so that's what I did, and I was assuming that he would go with me, but he never went with me. He slowed down, and I don't know what happened, what he was doing, or what. He went into the park. I've heard commentators use the word undulating before, but I'll be honest, I didn't really understand what that was. I've heard hilly. Undulating, however, means like a wave. It goes like this. And so that's what the final mile felt like. And so once you pair up the mental exhaustion for just being in the mindset of stay on it for mile 2, now the physical exhaustion that has taken place from going through, approaching mile 3, my legs are feeling beat up. I am starting to feel worn. I am feeling the whole season, it feels like, on my shoulders. And then it just clicked like in my mind, like, you don't have to be doing this. You get to. This is a privilege. Enjoy this, man. And so that's what I did. I was able to just tighten up my form just a little bit. And so as we made our way through as approaching like the home stretch, if you will, the home stretch is very long and it's very stretched out. I started to get emotional. Hey, this is the same marathon where Meb won. This is the same marathon that Shalane Flanagan won last year. Like, I get to run this. Like, this is a really cool thing about living in this area. And so as I made my way into the finish, also realized my emotions were starting to wear me a little bit because we're finishing on an uphill. So even that ability to kick had been like sucked out of me. So I was just thinking like, let me just finish strong. Let me come into this line as best as I can. This is nowhere near what I'm used to. So I just came through the finish. I smiled a little bit. There was a photographer. I made sure to get my photo taken. I just wanted to absorb this final moment, if you will. Like, this is my last race for the season. Let me just enjoy what's going on. So I came through the line. My watch said like 20, 23 or something like that. So I'm like, you know what? Based off of the way the day went, that's fine. This is a tough course. Had a bit of a slower start. Had a really good middle and just held on for dear life for the finish. I saw my guy Finley as I was making my way over to baggage claim. I just wanted to get my stuff. I was like cold and wet. I was like, how'd the race go? I was like, man, this is a tough course. Like y'all didn't tell me it was like this. He was like, yeah, man, it's a tough course to run. I was like, but you know what? I really appreciate just being able to run on the streets with it being closed off. I haven't had many opportunities to run like a 5K or anything like that here in the city, and so that was really amazing, man. So he was like, dope. He's like, you going to the shakeout run? I was like, yeah. Got my stuff, got dressed, made my way towards one of the quickest ways I need to get out of the park. I saw a few runners coming in. Wanted to take a little cell phone footage, which is what I did. And I was like, what were my splits? So I looked at my watch. At first, and so the total distance came up first, and I was like, that's odd. It said 3.2 miles. And so then I was like, okay, well, what were my splits? And so then I looked at my splits, and I was like, that's also odd. Now, granted, I'm tired. It's difficult for me to do math right now. But I'm like, let me just check Strava. I ran 24 seconds faster than I ever ran a 5K before. What I didn't realize early on, when my watch was going off ahead of the mile markers, because of the amount of work that I did moving around other people, I had accumulated the distance of 3.14 before I got to the finish line. And so my final finishing time from my actual watch was 19 minutes, 22 seconds. My official time on New York Road Runners is like 20:23. I'm taking my watch time, but to end at 19:22, it was not the 19 that I thought that was possible. But with all those factors going against me, and on this particular day, I was ecstatic about running 19 minutes, 22 seconds. Once again, I came through some odds in some really weird spaces when it comes to weather. And based off of where I'm moving, I don't gotta worry about this weather thing again. And that's because Jessica and I are moving, drum roll please, to Los Angeles. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's right. This weather this year in the Northeast has officially made me like, yo, like, you know what? I'm done. I look forward to sun all the time. I look to improve not only my 5K, but my mile, my 800 meters. Hell, I might even do a half marathon this year. But that's not the only thing. One of the things that I talked about very early on in the videos this year is that I wanted to be able to feature some of the cool things that were taking place in New York City, especially around running culture. Marathon is tomorrow. I can get out there and support some of my fellow runners. And not just be out there cheering, which I feel like has its own reward, but I can be out there and I can film. See, all this year I've been testing out these different shots. I can get me some good footage on myself to measure my form, but I could also test out these different angles that I think that other people, especially cruising people, look dope in. And so when I got out there, I just shot everything I saw, tried to capture as much sound as I absolutely could. And then all this week, the time that I usually be training, I put it in making this video. Not this video I'm making Saturday after class. Put together this really cool, just like recap, and I'm titling it Mile 21, man, because it's the one place in the overall race that's for the running culture. That's for like the running crews, like the people that have somehow forgotten about the race, people that maybe don't get their stories told the way that they should, and I wanted to be able to capture some of that. So to all the running crews in New York City, to name all of you would be absolutely ridiculous. I tried to capture as many of you guys as I absolutely could. The next video, I'll put a link, Mile 21. Thank you guys for joining me. I'll be back in 2 weeks. I look forward to hearing from you, and I'll talk to you about what's going on in LA. Peace.